and girls, pimps and simps, welcome back to the Mac Life, the #1 channel here on YouTube. Tonight, late at night, we're putting in the hustle. We're going to go over a little video here. I've just put the poll on Instagram or questions, and I essentially asked, what do you want to see? What Q&A do you want on YouTube? I'm going to do videos on it, and I was planning to put a heap of questions in one Google Doc thing, but I got asked, the first question was so in-depth that I was like, shit, I'm going to have to do a whole video just on this. So here we are. And today we're going to look at, over my time in business in the last 5 or 6 years that I've been self-employed, running my own businesses, and, successfully building up to pretty much living my dream lifestyle. What's the most important lessons? And for me, when I was asked that question a minute ago, I looked at it and I thought, fuck, it changes a lot. Like, it changes over time. I think this is the most important, then I learn this, and then I learn this, and I'm sure, maybe later on it'll change. But if I could help you fast track, and get to the position at least that I'm in now, these would be the bits of advice that I've learned that have worked from me. And like I said, I'm not a smart person. I don't consider myself an intelligent person. I simply, as Mozart said, the best artists don't create, they steal. And so, or maybe that was Picasso. Who knows? See? Who knows? It was Picasso, I'm pretty sure, not Mozart. Mozart's a musician. I just referenced that wrong. See? I told you I'm not smart. Anyway, essentially, this may change over time, but this is what's helped me the most, and it's information that I've learned from others. And this is given me the most success, so hopefully it helps you. Now, the very first one, I pretty much said, when I asked the question, it was, what's the most important lesson? And when I tried to write it down, I was like, it's this, no, it's this, no, it's this. And I really couldn't just write one thing. I have to realize that if we're talking about the most important things in business, I think business really comes from lifestyle, because you're never going to succeed in business without already knowing what your dream lifestyle is. But I want to keep this, pigeonholed to business, as businessy as it can get. But I think before ever participating in business or anything else, the outcome's going to come from heavy introspection. What do you actually want out of life? How much money do you want? How much money do you need? What are you going to use it for? Then it makes everything else very clear, because a quote that I love is that a sailor without a destination in mind has no favorable wind. If you don't know where you're going, the headwind's not going to help, tailwind's not going to help, nothing's going to help. So with that being said, let's jump into the 3 things, because I've got 3. And if you enjoyed this video as well, I don't ask that you subscribe. I just ask that you share it with a friend who this may help. So the first thing, and this is the most important lesson that I've learned in all of business so far to date, is that the opportunity vehicle that you choose is the most important aspect. It's not about how hard you row, as important as it is of what boat you choose. If you're rowing hard, but you're in this big piece of shitty wood, and you're putting in the work, you're just not going to beat me while I'm on a jet ski. You're just not going to beat me in a boat with a Yamaha engine, a speedboat. You're just not going to be able to catch up. And business is exactly the same in a few different senses, Number one, no matter how good you are as a business person, if you're in a dying market, you're gone. You're lost. Newspapers. They'll be obsolete soon. You're in a printing industry. It's dying out. It's all moving digital. It's all moving online. People say to me, "Oh, bro, I'm looking at creating an iPhone cover store, like iPhone cases. Is this a great drop shipping store? But I can't do the new model. I can only do these models. Is this great?" And I said, "Do you think it's going to be great? Do you think, realistically, isn't that a dumb question? How much money do you think you're going to make? Because as time moves on, eventually that's going to be completely obsolete. No one around here is trying to buy the iPhone 2. No one. So you must choose the correct market as well. And so, what boat you choose is very, very important. You need to be number one in a growing market, and then you need to look at what opportunities in that market can you leverage, And so that should change over time. As your skill set develops, and your beliefs change, that should change. So, i.e., I could either be a personal trainer, let's pick the fitness niche. I could be a personal trainer and charge one-to-one. But I can only charge a certain amount, I can only make a certain amount of money, and I could only work maybe 12 hours a day, and that's a lot if you're working out with the client. 12 hours a day with 12 different clients, and that's like the other client's ready to go, no mess ups. So say you're charging, $50 an hour, you're capped. You're still capped at how much you make, $600 for the day, and that may be great, but you're still capped, and that's it. That's as far as you can get. So let's look at the next opportunity vehicle. Maybe I was to personal coach, but instead of just personal coaching, I add in, a strength and conditioning program, that comes with it, and I write it out, and that's an extra $200. Now I'm choosing a different opportunity vehicle. I'm moving from just personal training to personal training plus add-ons, and I offer maybe nutrients. I offer different things, and I become almost a business that sells to a consumer as well as working within the business. After that, I could move all the way up to saying, okay, you know what? How about instead of you coming in, let's do it all online. I'm doing group sessions, okay? So I'm going to do 6 people at a time. Boom, now, or it doesn't even have to be online. It could be in person, but I'm leveraging, 6 fucking things at once. I'm getting 6 people, and that might only be $30, but times 6, if it's $30 for the hour, okay, I'm making $180 an hour. Then you could say, you know what, I'm going to offer online training instead. And then you say, you know what, to attract clients, instead of, doing this, I'm going to put out YouTube videos. It continues to move. Your opportunity vehicle will continue to change. And then maybe it's like, fuck, I should just employ people to work who run their own PT businesses, who have their own courses, who have all group sessions, and I take a cut and I leverage people's time. So that should change over time as you become more developed. But it's the boat that you choose is so important to how much money that you're going to make, because I mean, a lot of people that I consider a lot smarter than myself, especially in business, they have what I call like level 8, level 10 skill sets. I think I have a level 3 or a level 4 skill set, but I'm just in a smarter opportunity vehicle. I've just chosen a better vehicle for growth. So that's number 1. Without that, without the understanding of that, okay, you're going to struggle in business, because you can work as hard as you fucking want. Same as people who work wage jobs. You can work as hard as you want over years and years of time, but you're still going to be capped to the opportunity vehicle that you're in. So number 2 is your price. Remember, price is a made up thing. Back in the day, before we even had a digital currency, we used to have money. We used to have paper, and that was backed by gold, okay, at some point in time. That was backed by gold. So how much gold reserves there were translated over across into money, and obviously that become exacerbated over time. We moved to digital currency and everything else, and eventually in the future I feel we'll have crypto. But before that, before, we had a bartering system. And so think back to the root cause, and this is very important. If you don't understand where I'm going with this, this is very important. In the survival, in say the caveman eras, okay, before money existed, if you were starving and I had a load full of fish and you were about to starve to death, you would trade me everything you have for that fish. So the price of the fish it changes over time, okay? There's the price of the fish isn't 2 big rocks. Okay, it's not 2 big rocks. It may be 2 big rocks normally, but if you're fucking starving, it may be 6 big rocks. That's the opportunity of price, okay? And whether you think it's, that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's not up. If you're going to participate in a capitalist society, you have to understand that's the way price works, and you have to understand it as a concept, okay? And then you can apply it. So with price, generally you want to provide just as much value, okay, as you charge for in price. But that changes over time, like I said, depending on the situation, depending on the circumstance. A bottle of water now, if I was to walk into your house and offer it to you when you're in a developed country and I said it's $100, you're probably not going to pay it. But if you're in the desert with your wallet with a couple grand and I say to you, and you're thirsty and you're a few days out and I say to you, bottles of water are $100, you're probably going to take a couple bottles, if not all of them, okay? So your price is the next biggest thing, because I realized this selling on Facebook Marketplace. I had this base rate fallacy, which is basically it's a base rate conception in your mind that you believe, but it's based on no empirical evidence. And essentially I looked and I said, Facebook Marketplace is for people doing buy, swap, sells. People don't spend big money there. No one's gonna spend big amounts of money there. And that belief was not backed by any evidence, and that's what held me back for a very long time. So I was selling lipsticks and lip gloss kits and like 2 lipsticks for fucking $4, and they were $2 on AliExpress with free postage. And because I made such little money off that, I couldn't send out with express shipping because I had to use the free, Unexpress or whatever the fucking shit shipping was. So customers were more unhappy because of the fact that it took longer and da-da-da-da-da. If I charged more for that, they actually would have been happier because I could have paid for express postage. But what I've realized is price is made up. And then I found these bags on Facebook Marketplace that I started, they were $3. And I thought to myself, you know what, let me just see how much someone's willing to pay. I don't know what triggered this, but I just started testing. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. And so there was this bag, it was $3, it had all the best reviews. And in my head, the most price I could mark it up to was $30. And I put it to $30, somewhere around that. And boom, I was just getting sales. And then I waited for the reviews and I was scared. I was like, fuck, people are going to be unhappy with this $3 bag. They were so good. The reviews I was getting were incredible, like pumping. So I moved it to 40, moved it to 50, moved it to 60, 70, 80, 90, just as many orders. But what happened is, even though some of the orders started to slow down at the higher price point, the customers were still just as happy, sometimes even happier at a higher price point because of the perceived value. And more so than that, the only thing that changed, as well as the customers being happier, was I made a shit ton more money. And that's when I started to learn about price. And you know, there's a saying, once learnt, thrice reminded. Multiple times throughout my business journey, I've thought, oh, I'll reduce the price. I'll do this to get more sales. Oh, I'll make this cheaper. Oh, I'll sell these cheaper. I'll do this cheaper. I'll do this. And competing on price is the quickest way to end up both of you being poor, okay? And so there's an awesome quote from Alex Hormozi, and it's you know, there's no competitive advantage to being the second cheapest on the market. However, there is a massive competitive advantage to being the most expensive or the most premium on the market. So that is the second thing that I've learned in business that's helped me the most is your price, okay? You know, if I was to sell, say, let's say I was to sell, and I work in the OnlyFans industry now. Obviously, I consult with creators and make a shit ton of money doing that. I think it's the highest possible leveraged opportunity vehicle available today. If I was to say, you know, titty pics are $10, you know, I have to sell 10 titty pics to make $100. Or I could just say, I'm going to charge $100 and I only need one customer. What do you think is going to be easier? Convincing one person to pay $100 for pics of a pair of titties, or trying to convince 10 people to pay $10? I can guarantee you it's a lot easier to convince one person to pay $100. And there is a magnitudinal amount of benefit to go along with that, such as you qualify customers, you actually get better customers, the value actually seems to be enhanced. And you could even say your goal was to just make $10 profit. So because we've made the one sale and we have an additional $90, fuck it. You're going to send them 2 pics, or you're going to send them something else, or you're going to send them a custom this or a custom that, or something physical, because you have the margins. So that is definitely the second biggest lesson I've learned. Okay, number one is your opportunity vehicle or your boat. The second is what you charge. Okay, because if you were to charge $1 for your services, it's going to be very, very hard for you to justify. And we know this innately. We know this when we work and we go to a job. If I was to offer you, I know the minimum wage in Australia is like, I don't know, $15 or $16, but you know, on average, people earn like 20 to $30, somewhere around that mark. And if I was to say to them, hey bro, come in and work for me, I'll give you $2 an hour, they would say, get fucked. No way am I working for $2 an hour. Because they know, okay, that they're worth more value-wise. But then when they come to their business, people compete with each other and they don't charge more and more. Why? Because they don't know how to increase their value. So that's a whole separate equation to figure out. Rather than saying, I can't charge $100 for titty pics because no one could buy it, your question should be, how can I charge $100 for titty pics and have people buy it? What additional value do I need to add? Maybe I need to message them a few times first and build a genuine connection with them. And maybe they'll appreciate that connection more than the money they're outlaying compared to trying to sell 10 pictures of titties to 10 people for $10. Okay. But the one statement, okay, and this is the third one, and you want to understand this statement, it's the hardest one to conceptualize because of the fact that it's almost a daily battle. And so I was debating whether or not it was actually going to be the third one or not, but it needs to be the third one. And that's that once you see success, you must repeat the boring work over and over and over again. And the way in which I say understanding this one statement, the phrase to go along with it, is that you need to say, if I was to do this every day for as many waking hours as possible with as much energy, it would be unrealistic that I wouldn't achieve my goal within 10 years. And when you say it like that, it scares a lot of people because a lot of people go, 10 fucking years. No one wants to dedicate 10 years. But the way in which you should ask yourself is, if you don't start, you're not going to get the result anyway. What other way can you get the result you want? Is there an alternative way? Because if there's not, you're stuck with the choice of lessening your goals and lessening your dreams, which I never recommend because you should always try and live to your highest potential, or putting in the work. They're your only options. You roll the dice, as Alex Hormozi says. You just roll the dice. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. The next ones, I'll try and put a heap in the Q&A for tomorrow's video and put them in order. And yeah, we're back to 4 videos a day. I'm back here for whatever, at least a week. I have my baby, my baby. I have my sister's baby naming day thing coming up, so for my little nephew. So I have that. I'll be going to that, and then be trying to book whether it's a New Zealand trip or hopefully Japan's open soon, and then Dubai and Europe. We've got 22 weeks or something until I get my Invisalign put in. I have 22 weeks left to trace, and then I can get my veneers put in. So I'll be in Turkey as well. So if you enjoy these sort of videos, there's going to be some sexy little travel ones. Just every now and then a vlog popping out so you know where I am. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you share it with someone and who you think would find some value. And I'll see you in the next one. Paka.